Hey everybody, I wanted to make this video because iOS 15 has been out for a little bit and our iPads here in MS-8052 will be updating to iOS pretty soon. So I wanted to let you know about some of the changes and improvements that iOS 15 has so that you can be aware, so you can take advantage of some of these yourselves, or just to make sure that you know what is happening that might be a little bit different on the student iPad. So I wanted to start off by talking about improved multitasking. This is actually something that has been in iPadOS for a little bit, where you can place two apps side by side, full screen on your iPad, but getting the apps and things arranged the way you want has never exactly been very smooth, and so they've made a lot of improvements to that for iOS 15. So I'm just going to go ahead and pop a Google Chrome window up here, and let's say that I want to have Google Doc up next to my Google Chrome window. So it used to be that you had to do a bunch of steps to get that to work, but now it's a lot easier. So if you look at the top of my screen, you'll see these three dots, and that's the part that's new to iPadOS 15. So if you press on those three dots, you're going to see three choices for how you want this window to be arranged, and we're talking specifically about the current one open, the Google Chrome window. So the first option is to have it full screen, as it is right now. The other one is the split view, so it will take up the left half of the screen. And the third one is a kind of flyover, so it will turn it into a smaller window that you can pop over from the right side of the screen. So I'm going to go ahead and just do the split view here. And so I just press that button in the middle. It now makes it a half. It now takes up half of my screen, and it brings you to your home screen where you can select another app, and you'll see that I'm going to just go ahead right now and select Google Docs. And you'll see that now I have two windows side by side. One is Google Chrome, one is Google Docs. And let's say that if I just wanted to make this be the pop-up, I can then press this third button instead. And you'll see now my Google Chrome window has returned to being full screen, and I can go ahead and just slide over Google Docs from the right side of my screen. And I can also press on the three dots to move it over, so I can move it to the left, I can move it to the right, or I can now make that one full screen. So the multitasking functions have improved very significantly, in my opinion. I think these are much easier to manage. The other thing that happens here is that it makes it much easier to manage multiple windows of the same app. So it used to be really, really difficult to do something like that. For instance, if you wanted to have two Google Chrome windows. So I'm going to go ahead now. I'm going to bring Google Chrome back up here. Let's say I want code.org open on one of the screens, and I want a different website open on the right side. So I'm going to go ahead and press the three dots again. I'm going to put it into split view. And now in this case, I can actually select Google Chrome again. And now you'll see that I have two Google Chrome browsers side to side, which of course you could also put a Safari browser alongside the Google Chrome, or however you want to arrange that. It's also worth noting that this feature does not work with all apps yet. So for instance, it actually does not currently work with Google Docs. So if I wanted to pull up a Google Doc here, or two windows side by side, I'll get a little notification at the top that says multiple windows not supported. And then if you have multiple windows open at the same time, like I do with Google Chrome, you'll now see that when I press the Google Chrome app, I now have two the two windows side by side at the bottom, and I choose which one I want to go to, because it's kind of treating it like it's the same app open in two places. And if I double tap my home screen button, actually I need to go and press home. If I press the home screen button, you'll actually see that I have these two Google Chrome windows, and I can just swipe up on one to get rid of it. So that is multitasking in a nutshell. Another thing that is new with iPadOS 15 is improved access to apps and widgets. It used to be with widgets that they were either could only be on the left side of your screen, or you had to drag them over from the left side like I just did here in order to see them properly. So now with the widgets, you can actually just drag and you can put them kind of wherever you want. So that is something new. I actually just managed to get rid of one by accident, but that's okay because now I can show you how to add it back. So you can drag these wherever you want. If I press and hold on the home screen so that I get all the icons wiggling and I can rearrange and delete stuff, in the top left corner there's a plus button, and I can press on this to see all of the different kinds of widgets I can put. And this is another thing where app developers over time will have to build support for, like with the multitasking. So that was the Google Calendar one I think I got rid of by accident. So I'm just going to go ahead and press on Google Calendar. Different apps will also have different ways that you can put widgets on. So for instance, this view here would just give me a small square that would tell me what is next on my calendar, or I can slide to the right and see a more expanded view, or a month view with what's coming up as well. So I'm just going to go ahead and select that one. And now you'll see it has added it back into my my home screen, and I can, like I said, just click and drag these and move them around as I want to, and I can press done. And now when it comes to apps, if you have had an iPhone with iOS 14, you might be familiar with this function already, but you now have the app library, which is in the bottom right corner of my dock, and you'll see when I press that, I will actually see all of the apps that are now on my iPad, and they are organized by the categories in which they're listed in the App Store. So I see all of my apps here. If I want to go and get something in the education folder, I can either press on the larger icons, which will open the apps automatically, or if it's one of the smaller ones like the NWEA, if I press over there, it will show me the entire list of apps that are labeled as education, and then I can just press on the one that I want. So you don't have to have all of the app icons on your home screen the way that you did before. You can just kind of have maybe the ones that are the most important to you, and then the rest, if you need them by chance, you can always find them in the app library. And then if you go to remove something from your home screen, it used to be that, let's say if I wanted to remove the Calm app, I would just press and then remove app. So in the past, that would just ask if I wanted to uninstall it. Now it gives me the choice as to whether I want to uninstall the app, or if I just want to remove it from my home screen. So if I just select remove from home screen, it's now gone from there, but I can go into my app library and go ahead and just open it from there. And I'll go ahead and just add it back here. Also in the app library, if you're not a particular fan of this view, which I'm usually not, if you slide down from the top, you'll get an alphabetical view of all of the apps. And of course, you can also go up and search for the app as well. So you've got several different options in which you can look for the apps on your iPad. Another addition here is what's called Focus. And so this is sort of a build onto Do Not Disturb mode, where it used to be that you could set to turn your notifications off and things like that. But you have a little bit more control over them now. So I'm actually going to go ahead and open settings, and I'm going to go to focus here. Let's see, right there. So focus, you'll have a couple of pre-made profiles. One will be called Do Not Disturb, and that will pretty much be the same as it was before. You'll also have one called Home and one called Work. And those might have different sets of options, or you can press the plus button to create your own. And so if I go into Do Not Disturb, you'll see that I have the ability to decide which apps are allowed to display notifications. So whether I want, if I go to apps here, I can select ones that I want to display notifications even during Do Not Disturb. Or I can also, if you receive messages from contacts on here, you could also choose who you could receive notifications from as well. And then you can also set rules for when you want this option to turn on automatically. So, or like I said, you can go ahead and create a new one. I haven't really spent a whole lot of time playing with this, but if you want to set up different profiles that manage notifications differently, this might be something you want to explore. And then the last thing I wanted to show you is that the Safari browser now has extensions. So just like on your Chromebooks on Google Chrome, you can add extensions that add different functionality to what your browser is able to do. You can now do that in Safari as well. And so to find extensions, I would actually go into the App Store. And right now they have a couple of different places that you can look for extensions on in the App Store. And I will just say right now that because this is relatively new, the amount of extensions are very limited. But that's another thing that as developers, work on these, you'll see more and more of them. So I'm going to go to apps. I'm going to look for must have Safari extensions. So I'm going to go ahead and just select see all. Nope, not that category, this category. And you'll see here are some different apps or extensions that you can add. Like a lot of people will use Grammarly, so that adds Grammarly functionality into things that you type in the browser. There is a password manager. There's some other different things. And like I said, over time, I think you'll see more and more extensions in here to make Safari more functional. So those are the 4 primary things that I think are of note with iPadOS 15. So hopefully you find something in here that might be useful to you. And as always, thank you for watching this video, and we'll see you next time.